In the northern Ural Mountains lies a desolate pass where the wind never stops. Those who have been exploring it for years say a secret lies buried beneath the snow. This story began with 9 young climbers who set out to confront that secret. In February 1959, a group led by Igor Dyatlov embarked on a winter expedition to improve their athletic performance. All were experienced, all energetic. They possessed the self-confidence of those familiar with the mountains. Their excitement is palpable when you look through their diaries. The humor they weave from the snow, the joy mingled with weariness, the sense of accomplishment that awaits at the end of the journey. A few days after setting off, the team deviates slightly from their route due to harsh weather conditions. And on the night of February 1st, instead of descending into a more sheltered forest, they pitch their tent on a bare slope. That night, the wind picks up, and then, in the darkness, something happens. When rescuers arrived, the tent was in a shocking state. The fabric had been cut from the inside. Shoes, jackets, and equipment had been left behind. It was as if the tent's occupants had been forced out suddenly, without even a moment to think. The bodies were found in 3 different locations. The first 2 were near the tent, nearly collapsed from hypothermia. 2 were under a tree, as if they had tried to light a fire. The others were deeper in the forest, under the snow. This last group bore puzzling injuries: crushed ribs, blow marks on the skull, but no external cuts or bruises. These injuries resembled fractures caused by high pressure. From that moment on, the incident ceased to be an ordinary mountain disaster. These injuries could not have been inflicted by a single punch. One person, after reviewing the report, remarked, "It was as if I'd been hit by a small car." So what happened? The possibility of an avalanche was debated for a long time. Modern simulations have shown that, under certain circumstances, a small but lethal snowslide could have pressed against the tent. Katabatic winds, sudden, strong currents of cold air descending from the mountaintop were another possibility. They could have suddenly made the tent dangerous. But each theory leaves some questions unanswered: the severity of the injuries, the radioactive traces, the direction of the run through the forest. None of them can fill in all the pieces on their own. Since then, the incident has become a labyrinth, where scientific explanations and strange coincidences intertwine. Conspiracy theories, the possibility of secret military tests, explanations for natural phenomena, all are on the table, but none has all the keys. Years later, official investigations closed the case with the definition of natural forces. But such definitions sometimes don't explain the truth. They merely tidy up the shelves. The human mind, however, isn't fond of tidy shelves. It likes to tinker when it sees a missing piece. Everyone listening to the wind of the past today feels the same. What happened that night was likely a combination of several different factors: harsh weather conditions, panic, the pressure of the snow, man's vulnerability to cold. Perhaps nothing alone creates a mystery, but when all these coincide, a veil of mystery emerges. Years later, researchers who visited the region, listening to the sound of the snow, uttered the same sentence: "What happened here was nature's way of forgetting man." There's a touch of romance in this sentence, but it also carries a grain of truth. Because nature isn't as noisy as we might expect, sometimes it's frightening with its silence. And that's why the Dyatlov Pass is still talked about. There's no killer, no witnesses. There's just nature working without leaving a trace, and a humanity trying to understand that night. When the camera returns to the pass, the wind blows with the same tone as it did in the first scene. It's as if the entire story belongs to that wind, still roaring through the snow.